We're tickled to be down here in Rock Hill. The Panthers, we have the mantra that I'm trying to get in the organization is it's a mantra of excellence and a mantra of winning, and that's what we want to do down here in Rock Hill. I was just talking to the governor just a second ago, and we were talking with the Adrian people here, who are partners down here. And we're talking about potentially world-class orthopedic places coming down here to Rock Hill, and world-class executive medicine coming down here to Rock Hill. People coming down to Rock Hill, using the airport over there, flying from all over the country to come down to Rock Hill for those services. And we're going to build a world-class facility down here too. So this is going to be a showcase down here and going to bring people down to this region, and we'll have just a sense of excellence not only up there for the football team, but everything we do down here in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 sports podcast. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. Great weather. We're outside with Navy veteran William Wilson on D-Day, 75 years later. Thank you for your service, Will. Penn State, Spectrum, ESPN, my good friend Reggie Walker. Still reeling from that Anthony Ruiz upset. We'll get to that later. First, though, Will, businessman, business owner, your take on the Carolina Panthers. We just heard from Carolina Panther owner David Tepper. Basically formalizing, with details still to come, the new partnership with Rock Hill, South Carolina, and a new team facility and practice facility in Rock Hill. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's the worst kept secret in sports. I mean, it's just one of the things going to happen. Once you heard him start talking about South Carolina, once you realized he wasn't doing it to leverage Charlotte, you knew it was a done deal, because Charlotte can't offer them what Rock Hill can. It's very rarely you can say that about a city like Charlotte, but it's what it is. Rock Hill, that whole area, you got a lot more land. The land's going to cost as much. They don't have as much to offer, so they're going to bend over backwards because he has leverage. David Tepper has all the leverage. Just walk in and say, I'm going to make your city better.
Right.
Just by having a practice facility, I'll make your city better. But the practice facility in Charlotte doesn't change anything because we got the big game. Giving us the first string doesn't matter. We don't care if we have your developmental league. Nobody's going to really pay that much attention anyway. But now, the practices and things like this that people be able to attend, now it makes that a pseudo attraction, a visitor's attraction. Mm-hmm. People are going to go watch. They're going to be a little bit more pride in the city. Monetarily, he's going to get a huge tax break for that. He's probably going to get everything for pennies on the dollar. So there's nowhere in a situation, unless you're a Panther fan that lives in Charlotte, that likes walking over by the stadium to go to see the Panthers practice or wait for them to walk out of practice. There's no one who loses in this.
All right, now that's the business side of it. Now, Reggie, as a football player, and one time you were with the Panthers practice squad. You've practiced in that facility at the Bank of America Stadium. How does it work? I know the Redskins have Redskin Park in Ashburn, where they only show up to FedEx Field for game days. Now, what's it going to look like once that facility in Rock Hill is complete? Is it going to be every day, Monday through Saturday? They're going to be down there. They're going to go out and practice there. Only on Sunday are they going to show up and just get in the locker room and go out on the field at Bank of America Stadium?
Yeah, I mean I think that's the idea. But more importantly than anything, is it puts this organization on par with many other organizations in the league. Let's call it what it is. You use the Redskins as an example. Where are the schools better? Loudoun County, Virginia, or Washington, D.C.?
I think that's Loudoun County, Virginia.
Where are the schools better? Inner city Dallas, not that the Cowboys play there, or out in Frisco?
Frisco.
Okay, let's start doing the math. From a school system standpoint, many people in this area want to live in York County because the school systems are strong. That allows free agents that come here, maybe 27, 28 years old, with children. They've got to think about those things. Where do they need to go every day? Down the line, it'll be Rock Hill. Guess what? They're going to live out there. School systems are an impact. Being able to have a short commute from your house,
right?
Not dealing with city traffic, right, to go to practice. And also, listen, when you get that facility done down there and you build, basically it's going to be a mini metropolis. It's going to be a little complex where they can practice. They're going to have a healthcare facility down there for players. All of these different things, convention center type space, not a convention center, but big hotels for meeting spaces and those types of
It
things.
can host high school football
It'll
like
be
the,
able
like
to
the
host-
Star does in Frisco.
Absolutely. All those types of things in an area that is a little bit more cost effective to live. I think that becomes attractive to players, and it puts you on par with other organizations in the NFL.
Do you think Winthrop now could get football?
I don't know
think
how
they'll
much
have
that
it.
has an impact. To be honest,
I don't think they have an impact
I'm gonna
at
tell you
all.
the biggest problem with Winthrop getting football right now. The biggest problem with Winthrop getting football is Davidson has football, Catawba has football. You can go south to Wofford, Furman, Coastal Carolina,
Gardner-Webb.
The
The Big South
Carolina.
Conference is right there with your man Mike Minner coaching up at Campbell.
Yeah, there's no need. Well, I mean, where are you going to get players from? I'm not
There's
saying
plenty
there
of
aren't players in this area, but where are you going to get enough
I'm just
players
all
to
for
be
football.
consistently successful if you add
'cause the
football at a place like Winthrop? Winthrop.
I agree. I don't think I don't think it'll impact football at all. But
No.
I do think it'll impact real estate prices.
Absolutely.
Rock Hill's going to become a lot more expensive to live in.
You got some land down there,
What you gonna? No, absolutely
yet,
not.
though.
I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't buy a car in South Carolina. But I have my own political position with South Carolina. But I think overall it's going to increase the price of it. It's going to be like just like remember in Union County,
Absolutely.
everybody flocked to Union County
Yep.
because the taxes were cheaper and this, that, and the other.
Yep.
But what ends up happening, everybody with money started going down there, started building big houses, infrastructure. They did a moratorium on building because they were building so fast that the infrastructure couldn't keep up
They
with it.
overwhelmed the school system.
Yeah, well, but the sewer system,
Oh, yeah.
the water system, it overwhelmed everything. They put a moratorium, but now it's not much better to live in Union County than it is to live in regular Charlotte now, because the prices just went up. And that same is going to happen in Rock Hill. But I agree, Reggie, across the board. The school, I don't know if schools will matter as much because they got enough money. They just send their kids to the right schools anyway, possibly. But
But they can send them to public instead of private.
that is true. That's true. Remember, everybody used to go to Providence High
Everybody's
School
right.
because you get a private school education for free.
Right.
So you will see more of that. But I think what's going to happen too is going to impact. What I think that you said. A lot of players now,
Free agency.
they're gonna live in Rock Hill.
Right.
Yeah, let's say the Panthers make a trade for Trent Williams of the Redskins, who reportedly is very disgruntled, and maybe they want to re-sign him. He may want to say, I like South grass fields, warm weather, I like it down here.
Well, and not only that, man, when you have a full-fledged facility to practice that's different than where you go to work and play your games, it has a different feel. And it helps players compartmentalize game versus practice and those types of things. I just think this puts the organization on par with every other organization in the league that doesn't practice at their stadium. I mean, who does that? No one really does that, except for this organization right now. And David Tepper comes in and he wants to change that.
20-some years in existence. I've covered all but 2 seasons of Carolina Panther football, and it's shocking. And a lot of people in the organization were embarrassed that they didn't have this already. But thank goodness, David Tepper, forward-thinking that he is going to get this done with.
Well, it's not about forward thinking. Are you forward thinking when you're catching up to everybody else?
They're trying to get on the lead lap.
Right, but the problem is when you have an owner, the previous owner that was
Martin
cool
Mark.
with the status quo. He was just cool with it. He's like, I'm 80-some years old. I ain't been around that long. I don't need to take this battle on.
Well,
I'll let the next person take
And
this
he
on.
wasn't
his
going to will
legacy-
it. He wasn't even going to will it to his son. He'd already thrown Mark Richardson out of the will.
Well, his legacy was built because he got football here.
Exactly.
He got football here. He got Bank of America Stadium built. His legacy, listen, whether you like, dislike, or indifferent to, however you feel about Mr. Richardson now that he is no longer the owner and everything that went on there, facts are facts. He brought football to the Carolinas.
But
at the end of the day, no one can take that away from him. No one is. I don't think anyone's trying to, but my point in saying that is his legacy is that. He wasn't worried about the next step.
David Tepper actually, oddly, he can. And here's what I mean. I understand what you're saying in
Tepper
theory.
can, yes.
Yeah, Tepper can, because Tepper can decide, because this could be that first step. I got a practice facility.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna build a new stadium. Charlotte wanted me to build one. I'll build one in Rock Hill.
Right, and Mr. Richardson has 2 Super Bowl appearances.
Right. But at the end of the day, the teams, like you said, teams only 20-some years old.
That's exactly right.
Right. And not that many people nationally care about the Panthers. They don't know where they play in the first place. So moving them to Rock Hill, the people who live in this area, his legacy is legit. But the people that move out of here, they move to Rock Hill, people, where do you play? Oh, he plays in South Carolina. They're not going to think Rock Hill, South Carolina is 10 miles from Charlotte, North Carolina. They're going to think they're in a whole different state, and they will eventually move on.
And the thing that people need to calm down on, this is just the practice facility and team headquarters. The games are still going to be played, at least right now, at Bank of America Stadium. They're not building a stadium in Rock Hill. And I'm not suggesting you said that.
No, I
just mean in general, because people are like, why is the team moving? Calm down. They're still going to play their games in the same place. Mm-hmm. They're just going to practice somewhere else.
This facility was built in the mid-'90s. It's now almost 2020. So
It's
by
antiquated.
league standards, it's antiquated.
It was
a lot of teams, like let's say the Redskins. I brought them up earlier. FedEx Field is not technically is not as old as Bank of America Stadium, and they're already talking about a new stadium.
Let me put it to you like this: since before, so the Panthers came in the league in what, 95?
Right.
So let's do the math. The Falcons have built 2 new stadiums since this team came.
2.
The Georgia Dome and now Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the Panthers are still playing in the same
they've
spot.
had more Super Bowls than Carolina has because Carolina's got 0. All right, we're going to come back with some football, maybe a big signing for the Carolina Panthers.
The Falcons ain't won no title.
They won a Super Bowl.
I said Atlanta has hosted Super Bowl.
Hosting? Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right, gotcha.
But anyway, they've been to one. The Morton Anderson deal. Didn't the Falcons?
Oh yeah. Before we leave, let's not forget the fact Charlotte will still be the reason free agents come to. No one's going to come to Charlotte because of Rock Hill.
Big signing that we talked about last week happened. We're coming back with more talking about sports right here from the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, talking about sports. Best food around.
Extremely excited to get it going, and can't wait. This organization is known for its ability to be resilient and just find a way to win. Even in tough times, they just always had a history of finding a way to push through and fight through, and I just wanted to be a part of that. I was quoted as saying I wanted to go to a contender, and every ounce of me feels like this team is a true contender. With the addition of me and all the pieces that are already here, got a great shot. Whoever I'm with, I'm extremely loyal to. So I'm a Panther. I'm a Panther through and through. This is my family now. I believe God's put me in this place for a reason, and I'm in Carolina for a reason. I don't know what that is, but I trust God's plan, and that's what I'm going with.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports with William Wilson, Reggie Walker. All right, we see the Carolina Panthers signed a multi-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle, Gerald McCoy. May be able to fit right in with a good defensive package with K'Wan Short, Burns, the rookie from Florida State. I like, we and Will talked about it last week, a front seven that to me gets stronger. But Reggie, conversely, some people say there's a reason why Tampa let him go. He didn't want to renegotiate. Maybe his numbers, his paycheck didn't meet his production, and they basically chose Ndamukong Suh over him. Not only that, they gave Ndamukong Suh Gerald McCoy's number, and they're saying that maybe personally he wants to play the Buccaneers twice. What do you think, Reg?
I don't think it's a personal trying to get back at the Bucs and playing them twice.
Did Baltimore offer him twice the guaranteed money?
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to look at an organization and what a team has that you're going to or looking at going to. The Panthers, did they fall apart at the end of last year? Yeah, they did. But when you look at this football team, like it or not, if Cam is healthy, you've got a proven former MVP signal caller. In Christian McCaffrey, he's a playmaker on offense. They've done some things with the offensive line. Defensively, you still got Luke Kuechly. You've got Two corners that I think are pretty good. Jackson was a rookie last year, so you assume he's going to get better. And you start looking at what this team has, and one of the holes they had was filling up some of the spots on the defensive front. They go get Burns. They add McCoy. I think McCoy's looking at this going, you know what? This is an organization that's consistently near the top of the conference, near the top of the division, I should say. In a division I haven't won, in a division I haven't been able to get to the playoffs in. So why not go there and show my wares? And then the other piece of it in terms of the fit, Gerald McCoy at 295, he's good enough to play inside. He's good enough to play outside. He's good enough to play outside in a 3-4 or a 4-3.
Right.
His versatility helps the organization. He understands that.
So a good year could maybe give him a longer-term contract. Grass field, pretty warm weather.
Yeah, and let me ask you this question, too. I'll leave you with this as we get it to Will here. The other piece of it, Will, is whether McCoy is what he used to be.
You think he's the real McCoy?
Well, it doesn't matter, because here's what he does. Whether it's Dontari Poe, KK Short, Gerald McCoy, Brian Burns, you can't. He creates a situation where no one can face a double team. He's good enough. KK's good enough. Dontari's good enough. Burns is fast enough off the edge. Who are you going to double? And that's all you need to create in the NFL up front, is create a situation where you got one-on-one matchups, or people have to leave tight ends in to block or leave backs in to block to help protect, and then you minimize the amount of receivers. That's how you play football in the NFL.
Is he the real McCoy to you, Will?
I think so. I've already said you need somebody who strikes some fear into the guy across from him. That helmet on helmet. You need that other hat to be afraid. And Gerald McCoy is one of those guys. I think they bring some attitude, because Luke Kuechly is extremely respected.
Yes.
But he doesn't, and he's a beast on the field.
Yes.
So taking nothing away from Luke, but Luke will plow you, then help pick you back up. McCoy will plow up through you and just leave you standing there and walk over you. You need somebody with that attitude, that ego, almost a Steve Smith-like chip on their shoulder when they play.
That's a big chip.
And I think McCoy gives you that toughness, that mental toughness, that emotional toughness, that different little, that je ne sais quoi, as they say.
Yeah.
That it's got that those intangibles that don't necessarily always show up on the stat sheet, but make sure the offensive line different. Like you said, who you gonna double team now?
Who you gonna double?
You double, you gonna pay. Je ne sais quoi.
Is that from Arkansas?
No, it's French.
That's French, fool.
Yeah.
This guy.
Redskins fans wouldn't know any better.
But what he and the other thing, look, and we talked about it, during the break. Some people are very high on the signing, others aren't. Let me contextualize this. In addition to all the things we've said about him on the field and as a player, historically the Panthers, particularly on defense, with the exception of, I guess, Peppers a couple of years ago when they brought him back, they don't usually make really, really big splashes in free agency. This is different, and I think this is why people are so high on it, is because they look at the organization and they go, you know what, this guy was important enough to make a splash in free agency, to add to this football team. After, a lot of ways, a lot of people thought this team was set going into the season and they weren't going to make any more moves really at all, let alone a bigger one. But I don't think they're set.
Out there, potentially.
Well, you never know. And I think this is an organization that's always looking to get better, and they've consistently done that. Sometimes it's a small tweak. Sometimes it's a more notable tweak, right, in a situation like this where they go bring in a guy like Gerald McCoy.
Now, Reggie, you mentioned the offensive line. There's a guy from the Washington Redskins who reportedly has demanded a trade or release, and he'd say he's not about money. He's the sixth highest paid or seventh, depending on who you ask. And I don't see the guys who are getting paid more than him being any better than him. Trent Williams, left tackle, Washington Redskins, a vital part of what they want to do in the future for many years. He wants out. Could Carolina jump into the mix? They could easily take a guy like Trent Williams, but the cap room is an issue. The cap room is an issue. Cleveland and Houston can take this contract on as is.
I wouldn't trade for it. I wouldn't trade for it.
A guy who's been more Pro Bowls than about anybody. Yeah, probably the best guy out there. Just one of the top four in his position in the league.
But here's what you got to remember. Just like Gerald McCoy, they were at a stalemate for 3 months, and then they cut him. Because at the end of the day, in the NFL, why would you trade for a contract when a guy wants to be traded or leave an organization? Eventually, they're going to cut him, and you can take him on without guaranteeing him whatever it was they were guaranteeing him. Listen, with all due respect to Gerald McCoy, what was the number down in Tampa? $13 million?
Right.
What did he sign for in Carolina?
8.5.
Thank you. You save $4.5 million by letting him get cut and then doing the work in free agency. Why would you trade for a guy that you're probably going to have a chance to be able to just do the work
Trent
in free
Williams
agency?
is better at his position than McCoy is.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Why would you make the trade if you don't have to?
I'll answer that. I'll answer that question. Not saying that you should or shouldn't make this trade. I'm saying on the hypothesis in and of itself. I think it all looks at how much better does he make me? Is he worth making that trade?
That's right.
With what you have now, is it what you'd have to trade to get rid of him? Because again, it all depends. What do you have to trade for him? If you could trade, a couple of second or third round guys, or guys you're not really using that much anyway, did you really lose anything? So I think it all depends on what you have to trade, what you have to pay for him. It's like playing golf. Are you gonna try to be on the green in 2? It's risk reward.
I'd like to do that.
But are you gonna risk being in the water, in the sand, or in a hazard?
Right.
Sometimes you guys say, I'll just take my lumps, like you said.
Right.
Hopefully they'll release him and go.
I'm in the water all the time anyway.
But how much better does he make you? Is he worth that impact? Is he worth taking that risk on?
Correct.
Because you're right. You said Cleveland and somebody else
Cleveland
could take
used
it.
to have they can
Right.
take the contracts on as is.
Right.
Without restructuring.
Right. So that gives them much more leverage on that end because they can play
My
both
point
sides
is
of
that
the
Trent
position.
Williams is one of the 4 best people at his position. Cam has been hit. He's been hit hard for several years. He can upgrade the offensive line. He is a potential All-Pro, almost a guarantee at Pro Bowl level.
All of that I agree with.
Will he protect his blind side? Will he
think he
protect?
could.
Will it? Because I don't know.
Here's my point on that.
That's what I'm asking.
While I agree with all of that,
I don't want the Redskins to trade him. I'm hoping they can just.
While I agree with all of that,
give
I'm
the
gonna
Redskins
ask you.
more money.
I'm gonna ask you this simply, because all of it is subjective, right? So, are there Panther fans that think, or just people in general, that think Gerald McCoy is done and he ain't what he used to be? Probably. Mm-hmm. Are there fans that think Williams is done and he ain't what he used to be? Probably. It's all comes down to the evaluation you make, and to Will's point, how much better it makes your team. I'm not arguing that he can't be a good player, but somebody may look at him, and maybe, Belichick's done his over the years. Belichick will just look at a guy and be like, you know what, you were my starter for the last 3 years. You just ain't good enough no more. Bye. And maybe the Redskins feel like he ain't good enough no more to command the kind of money he wants. Bye.
Yeah, that really could come down to that. That's what you got to look at.
Business.
Because it's not always about how good you are. Like, no one argues that Rolls Royce is an amazing car. It's a beautiful car. It's a great car. It's an expensive car. And arguably whether it's worth what it says or not, whatever it is what it is. But as great as a car as Rolls Royce is, if you want to have a car for Uber, you're not going to buy a Rolls Royce.
Right.
So it may be a great car, but it may not fit with what you want to do.
That's right.
So it may be way too much money for what it is you want to do. So you got to make sure that the Rolls Royce that you're talking about, that you're typing him up like he's a Rolls Royce, but is he going to fit in what the Panthers want to do?
Who's the comedian that wrecked the $2 million car? What's his name? Some guy took it out for a spin and he wrecked it within a mile.
I'll ask you this too. Look at the offensive systems. Is he blocking zone or man in Washington?
They're a power running team.
Is he blocking zone or man if he comes to Carolina?
Probably more of a multi-set. So I think it's a different
So
system.
that's what we talk about fit.
And will he fit into that?
Will he fit into that?
Yeah.
Those are the types of questions we can never forget. I'm not suggesting you are, but those are the types of questions that I think organizations have to look at. And when you're looking at trading for a guy that's guaranteed another how many million on that
He's
contract?
got this year, next year, with under contract. He's this year, next year, 2 years under contract.
And how much? And for a team that might have some cap issues, do you want to risk that kind of money on a guy that you're not sure is going to fit your organization?
I'm no Marty Herney, but I think Trent Williams is the kind of guy. I'd make the move to get him, depending on the price.
Let me ask you: would you make this move? If we're talking about somebody who played for the Texans, how much this we're talking about now? Is it a heart move because you're a Redskin fan?
I don't want the Redskins to trade him. I'm just saying, if you're Carolina, you want to make him trade. All right. It is, by the way, before we go to break, it is your favorite time of the year, Reggie. Football players in shorts and T-shirts.
T-shirt All-Americans.
There you go. All right. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. This is Talking About Sports.
All pro tees.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with Reggie William and William Wilson. Reggie Walker and William Wilson, sorry. I'm looking at this Hornets workouts, Reggie. We have Ty Jerome from UVA, Jalen, how do you pronounce this dude's name? LeQuec? Sounds like one of the Quebecers. Sounds like Jacques Rougeau. This guy, Jalen Lequi, whatever his name is, he did not go to college.
No.
And do you know his story?
I heard a little bit about it, but fill in the people for me.
I don't know too much about it. He found a way to not go to college.
Hey, post-grad. Listen.
He went like go to Fork Union.
Yeah, I've been telling people for years. That's why this whole one-and-done thing is not the NCAA's fault. The NCAA is not forcing these kids to come to school. The NBA is saying you can't come here until you're 19 or you've been out of high school for a year. The fact that they're going to college is of their own volition. Right. Remember, R.J. Hampton is going to go to New Zealand and play.
Yeah,
he's going to play in the Australian League.
Last year.
There's another kid that I just saw. If you go on R.J. Hampton's Twitter, there's another kid that announced he's going straight to play overseas,
like Europe, like Brandon Jennings,
and then he's going to go to the NBA after 1 year. These kids understand it. So while we keep trying to rail on the NCAA for not paying these kids, the NCAA is just like Bank of America. We'll give you an internship. You can come here. We're not going to pay you, but you can put it on your resume. Or you can go somewhere else. So to me, I don't have a problem with the NCAA not paying athletes because they're not the ones saying you got to come here. It's the NBA and the NFL that's making kids show up.
All right, now before we go any further, Kevin Tolbert, we have some sound from Jalen. Let's see if we have him, and we have Ty Jerome, who played at UVA. Some of the many guys that we've seen working out for the Charlotte Hornets, and I think there's going to be a lot of room. So I think there's going to be some significant turnover with the Hornets roster. KT, we got that with Jalen. Let's go to Ty Jerome and see what he had to say.
Things went well. 3-on-3, one-on-one, all that stuff. It was just fun to come out here and compete and play with different guys and be around different coaches and people. So it definitely went well. In most of my workouts, I've always been the most vocal guy. Just trying to lead the guys, like you said, that I'm just meeting now. We're just playing with for the first time. And I think the team's been just impressed with that, just coming out and trying to be a leader no matter who I'm around. It's always different conversations, honestly. Sometimes it's feedback, sometimes it's it's different things. It's a great opportunity. Something I always dreamed of when I was a kid. I didn't really know much about the process, but just to be here and talk to different GMs, talk to different people in the front office, different coaches, and be in these gyms now is just a great opportunity. I'm really thankful for it. And just stay humble, keep competing.
All right, we just heard from Ty Jerome, a swingman, Virginia Cavaliers, national champion, played multiple years. William Wilson, you don't like the one-and-done guys. You like guys who've proven themselves, proven commodities in college. He's one of them. He could help the Charlotte Hornets if they lose a guy like Jeremy Lamb, who I'd hate to, if you're a Hornets fan, you'd hate to lose him, but financial issues could be the reason, the undoing of some good players leaving town. I think from a basketball standpoint, Ty Jerome fits the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, he's a knockdown shooter, and that's what they need. They need guys that can make shots.
Exactly.
Batum, you can say what you want. Batum's game is predicated on playmaking. Yeah, but his game is predicated on playmaking. Kemba Walker, while he can score, he makes plays for other people. When you have playmakers that need the basketball, what do you need around them? Guys that can make shots. That used to be Marvin Williams, not as much anymore. You gotta have guys that can make shots. And at the end of the day, Ty Jerome is a guy that can knock down shots from all over the floor.
And that's what the Hornets have been missing, seems almost since inception. A consistent shooter. They've had a real knockdown three shooter you can depend on since the days of Glenn Rice and Dale Curry.
Yeah.
Well, can I finish? We got 3 mics. You can wait till I talk. Sir.
Who were you, an admiral?
No, I was lieutenant. I got promoted lieutenant commander, but I left before I got out. But anyway, but the point is, you got to have those guys. Like you said, it's predicated. You need those perimeter shooters.
Yeah.
But regardless who you get, if you get Steph Curry here, at some point Kemba's got to trust him.
Yeah.
The problem is if Kemba doesn't trust him, it doesn't matter who you bring in. It does not matter. And I like Kemba. This isn't a knock against Kemba, except for the fact I'm knocking the fact he doesn't trust anybody on his team to score points but him.
Nah, man, who's
And
proven they can consistently do it?
Well, it's hard to do it when the guy's on the field, on the court 80% of the time and thinks he doesn't trust anybody. I've seen consistent times where the Hornets play better as a team with Kemba off the court, and they look like they got the best seats in the house when he's on the court because they watch him go from coast to coast, maybe throw off a pass to a guy he knows going to pass back, and then he sets up for a layup, jump shot, whatever it may be. If Kemba finally gets somebody inside alongside a shooter that he can trust, that he gives the time to trust, that you have to trust, and a coach that makes him do it, because the coach still runs the show. As much as we like to act like they don't, they do. If they don't, then you got an organizational issue that you need to resolve.
That's exactly right.
Good coach. I think he's running the show. Tight ship.
But and if he does, cool. I'm not saying he don't. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, until Kemba trusts the people on the field, it doesn't matter on the court. It doesn't matter how good they are.
That's right. That's right. And so to answer the question that we were talking about a minute ago as we swapped mics out here with for Kevin, some technical issues, but we just worked through it. Yeah, he just sliding in the pits for a minute. The other player that is going to skip college for professional opportunities, Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but Kenyon Martin Jr. Has decided he's not going to do college either, and he's going to seek professional opportunities. And listen, R.J. Hampton, it was funny. R.J. Hampton retweeted it and said trendsetter. So at the end of the day, R.J. Hampton feels like, hey, look, guys are understanding we can do whatever we want to do. We are not tied to what everybody else says we're tied to. We don't have to go to college. We can go do whatever it is we want to do and make our money.
Exactly. And once they understand that, the game changed. The old saying, it ain't fun once rabbit get the gun.
That's it.
For a long time, the NBA was a rabbit, had the gun. And these guys, you want to come to us, this is what you have to do.
Right.
We predicate this. Now guys are going, wait, I can go play in Germany for a year, I can go play in Greece for a year, I can make me $1 million, $2 million, still get tape, play against better players that I'm going to play against in college, make a better name for myself, give me some endorsement deals, some endorsement money, and then come back over and start my career.
Right.
Or I may decide, you know what, I'm living so good right here, I'm good.
And
Any number of things they can do.
And that's the funny part, because all the people that were saying they should be able to go get market value, in a couple of years they're going to be saying these guys should be in college. You don't want to say let them go make money. They can go make money.
Well, the thing is,
I don't have a problem. See, that's my thing. People think I have a problem. Like, if they're being forced to go to college basketball, then yeah, you need to pay them. But ain't nobody forcing them to go. Mm-hmm. Nobody's forcing them to go.
Now the NFL, I think, would be different. NFL, because you don't have another avenue someplace you can go and play football.
Here comes the XFL. They just had the other the AAF that folded.
Yeah, but that lasted 2 weeks.
Right, and you know why? Because people are only watching guys in college or in the NFL.
Well, I watched it.
Well,
I watched the AAF.
I did too, man.
I think a lot of people watched it. The problem is they had management financial funding issues.
Yep.
That was a great idea, poorly executed, poorly funded.
They rushed it.
Yeah, tell that to Charles Harbaugh.
The XFL might survive, though. Watch.
I like watching football, but then again, I like watching the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, Will.
Yeah, I mean, people like racing, people like sports. The thing is,
that's it. I want to watch sports.
People will watch anything if you give them a good reason. People will buy anything if you give them a good reason. It's all about the story. It's all about the marketing. It's all about the sizzle and the sauce. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. That gets them watching. Now, once they're watching, you better
have a good product. That's right. I totally agree with that.
You can't be a 6'2" stud with a six-pack, got a great job, all stuff, then you take it home to bed, you do 30 seconds.
Ask Anthony Joshua. He looked great, didn't win the fight.
So you got to be able to produce.
All right.
Once you sell, you got to have a product worth maintaining.
That's right.
Is a lieutenant commander higher than an ensign?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
I didn't know. David Robinson left the Navy and left the Naval Academy and went to the Navy and was an ensign. When he goes to the Spurs, he's an admiral. The Spurs Navy rolled to some many championships.
Because one's a pay grade, the other's a nickname.
All right.
Dr. Dre.
All right.
Can't give you an
talking
for a
about
headache.
sports right after this.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow.
As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, talking about sports. Best food around.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. Final segment here in the books. And big week. We had boxing, big boxing. We had Kyle Busch dominate Pocono. The Charlotte Checkers are in the Calder Cup finals. But, Reggie, I was late in my texting with you, and we were both kind of in similar situations over the weekend. Good ones, I might add. And Anthony Joshua, that he was telling everybody how great he was. He had like 5 or 6 belts. Everybody said he was the greatest since Rocky Marciano or Muhammad Ali or whoever. And he gets knocked down multiple times, and the referee stopped the fight in the 7th round. I think the referee stopped it early. I did. But Louis, what's his name?
Andy Ruiz Jr.
Andy Ruiz Jr., with his Snickers and all, is now the heavyweight champion. I still think that Deontay Wilder is still better than he is as we get
Here come the real undisputed heavyweight champion.
Here's
food.
I'll give you this on the stoppage. If you feel like it was early, that's one person's opinion.
I think he
I'm
was
not
standing up.
argue that.
He looked clear and coherent, but I'm not the referee.
He did look clear and coherent. But here's what I will say: he got put down 4 times in the fight.
William Wilson,
The last
Reggie Walker
3
rings.
times, the last 2 times in particular, in the 7th round, where they stopped the fight, those were not punches to me that looked like they hurt him. But the way he went down,
Ruiz hit you with it.
Look at the way he went down. He did not go down as if he got caught with a punch he didn't see coming or that really hurt him. He went down as if he was like, I just have nothing left. I want no more of this.
That's the thing.
I am done with this fight. Just get me out of here.
That's the
and
thing.
to me, when a fighter looks like that, I don't care if you're the champion or not. When you look like that twice in the same round, you need to protect that guy from himself, because if he gets up again, Ruiz may knock him out and severely hurt him.
Now, I texted you the Marvin Hagler quote as portrayed by Teddy Atlas. It's hard to get up at 5 in the morning when you're sleeping in silk sheets, William Wilson. Now, you sleep in silk sheets. I wouldn't know. It's easy for me to get up at 5 a.m., but I'm not going to do road work at 5 in the morning when I'm sleeping in silk sheets.
Well, I don't get the point. What does that have to do with
He's rich. And
everybody try to.
He's not hungry.
But
he's not training. He's not taking
how many
it serious.
heavyweight champions aren't rich?
Yeah, they're all rich. The thing is, that's about heart. That's not about banking. That's about heart, integrity, and character. Now, a guy that's going to make a statement like this, that's a guy that said, you know what, I'm good. They just coasting through. They just there for the check.
Right.
But a guy who, if you talking much trash as you saying that guy talk.
Oh, Joshua's been running it.
If he talked all that trash, it's not like he wrote a check. His mouth wrote a check, his behind couldn't cash.
Well, and I'm going to tell you what I think really happened in that fight. You know what I think the turning point in that fight was? In the 3rd round, when Andy Ruiz Jr. got knocked down and he got up. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Anthony Joshua thought when Ruiz went down, this fight is over. And when that kid got up and put Joshua down in the same round, Joshua in his mind went, oh, I got to actually fight. And I'm not prepared to fight 12 rounds with this guy. And in the 7th round, when he went down twice, the body language told me, Joshua was like, just get me out of here. I want no more of this.
After the Ruiz loss, who's the best fighter? Is it Fury, Wilder, or do you still like Joshua? Or do you say Ruiz is the best guy now?
No, Ruiz is not the best. Joshua, I didn't think was the best. I'm not sure Wilder is. To me, at the end of the day, until somebody beats him, Tyson Fury is the best. Now listen,
he was the only guy that stopped himself.
I've seen Tyson Fury go down to punches by Deontay Wilder. I'll say this. I'll argue that Wilder probably has a better chin because he got rocked by Ortiz.
He's getting ready to fight again. He's getting ready to fight that guy again.
Deontay Wilder has not been down. Klitschko put Anthony Joshua down before. Anthony Joshua put Andy Ruiz down. Wilder has knocked out Ortiz, and he put Tyson Fury on the ground twice. I ain't seen nobody put Wilder on the floor yet.
To me, he's
so
the guy.
Until that happens, I got to go with Wilder right now.
I'm with you there.
To go with the wrestling reference, to beat a man,
you got to beat
the man.
Woo!
All right, now, Will, Pocono, good race, clean. You had to get out front on the restarts. We were thinking maybe somebody out of the blue could have come out, but there were good showings by some. But at the end, it was too much Joe Gibbs racing.
Yeah, I mean, but Pocono.
Kurt Busch did well, though. I did like him.
Yeah, Kurt did
good finish.
Well. But tracks like that, the winner's gonna always come from a really good team.
I did want to point this out in the Xfinity race, Will.
You gonna let him finish the sentence
I
first?
am. I just want to, before you forget, because he didn't finish in the top 10.
Okay, Kanye, hurry up.
Greg Galding.
We got
was
like
in
a
the
minute
top
left in the
10
show. Come on,
the,
Kanye.
Xfinity race before the last few laps. Just more point that your friend.
Right. But all I'm saying is Pocono is one of those tracks that's always going to be won by the better funded teams because you got to have the kind of equipment, the notes, the personnel, the resources, because you're racing 3 tracks, 3 turns, 3 completely different turns. You got to figure out, you got to be able to work on the fly. And the way Pocono is set up, you got to have a short run, you got an extremely long run, you got an intermediate run, you got 3 different types of corners. And most teams don't have the notes. Most teams, they want to survive Pocono. They want to get through it and move on to an intermediate track where the notes they have from Charlotte, Texas, Atlanta, and Chicago, they can have a baseline to start with. Pocono is so unique, there is no baseline to start with.
All right, KT, how much time we got? Final thoughts, Will and Reggie. Let's go.
My final thought, man, is look. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit, real quick about boxing, and I'm going to make this point about Triple G because he came out and made some statements about Anthony Joshua and, you know, the drug testing process being different and Joshua wasn't ready and all these things. I respect Triple G as a fighter. Triple G has always been a guy that has been great for an interview and will give you his opinion. But now all of a sudden he's becoming critical of everybody in boxing after he was unable to beat Canelo in 2 consecutive fights. Calm down, buddy. I'm going to need you to get back on the winning side consistently before you start criticizing every other fighter in every other division. Okay, I'm going to need him to do that. But I look forward to seeing him fight, I believe, this weekend. He's going to fight again, so we'll see where Triple G is at and if he can keep his winning ways.
William Wilson.
Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, it's the 75th anniversary of D-Day. That showed a time where countries work together. It showed the importance of working together.
The Allied invasion, right?
Exactly. Of countries working together. Teamwork makes the dream work. You know, I've always said you can do anything in the world, but you can't do it alone. It doesn't matter if you're a country, if you're a business, if you're a player. You need a team. You need to be able to work together. And I hope that we can see this commemoration brings back a time we can get these people in D.C. can get out of their head that it's got us or them and realize or doesn't work and always prospers. So that's what we do. I hope D-Day is a reminder of that.
We're with the people in your home state of Arkansas who are experiencing some devastating flooding. So
Arkansas. I mean, between the storms of Arkansas, Oklahoma, I mean, it's just been crazy in the Midwest altogether.
And I want to mention my Uncle Tony, who served on the USS Varian and the USS Wisconsin. He served in operations in the Azores, North Africa, and Sicily. He's in those invasions. So thank you, Uncle Tony. May you rest in peace. And the Charlotte Checkers are in the Calder Cup AHL Finals, Reggie. They're up 2-1. They have a game tonight. If it goes 6-7, the games 6 and 7 are in Charlotte next week. So go Checkers. All right, for Kevin Tolbert, William Wilson, Reggie Walker, I'm Kevin Casey. This has been Talking About Sports. So long for now.
Shout out to Le'Veon Bell.
Go Hogs.
Big Suey.
Got him plates over there.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, Talking About Sports. Best food around.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry.
I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, Talking About Sports. Best food around.